Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. I hope that this finds everyone doing well during this holiday season. I am coming to you to bring you a video that was asked for. I recently did a poll probably about 3-4 months ago asking what type of video I should do, and I asked regarding notary supplies, apostille 101, or go live and provide other information. The majority of the people wanted to know regarding supplies. I also received a comment from one of my other videos that was telling me that they were a brand new notary and they wanted to know what type of supplies that they needed as well, as far as the notary and as far as different between notary and notary signing agent supplies. So this video is going to be 4 parts. The first part is going to be how to become a notary, and it's going to be specific to Florida. I'm pretty sure everyone can use it, but it may be a little bit different between your state and my state. The second part is going to be Notary Public supplies, just your general notary supplies. Third is going to be the notary signing agent supplies that are needed. And I'm also going to add a fourth section, which is going to be for RON, or remote online notarization supplies. I know a lot of people have been asking about that. A lot of people have been thinking about that, and just so you'll know what you need if you decide to go that route, you'll have it as well. So we're going to get started with part 1. Here we go. All right, so part 1 is how to become a notary. So in the state of Florida, as you see to my left here, I have listed all of the information regarding what has to take place. So you have to complete a mandatory 3-hour training, and yes, it is 3 hours. It is broken up into sections, but even if you finish a section within 10 minutes and the section is 20 minutes long, you're still going to have to wait that additional 10 minutes to finish the section. So it is 3 hours long. So once you finish the training itself, then you have to take the training assessment, and you have to pass it with a 80% or better. Once you do that, it's going to tell you congratulations, you receive a certificate that you're then going to have to print out and send along with your completed and submitted notary application, along with the fee. When I did mine, I think it was about $40. I don't know if it has went up or if it's still the same. I will put a link to the Secretary of State website for Florida, for notary, for individuals who are in Florida, in order to see, so you can go through that process if you're thinking about getting started in this business. Once you've been approved by the state of Florida, and sometimes it takes about 4 to 8 weeks to be approved, you can go out on the website probably about 30 days after you submit your application to see if you've been approved and see if your name is listed among the active Notary Publics. But if not, then of course you're probably going to have to wait a little bit longer, or you can always call and check on the status of your application. Once you've been approved, you're going to receive a approval letter and your notary commission certificate from the state of Florida. Once you get that, then you're going to order your notary supplies. Of course, you're going to get your surety bond. In the state of Florida, you have to have Arizona mission insurance and a surety bond of at least $7,500. Of course, you can get more of that, more if you would like, but you have to have a minimum of $7,500. You're gonna then order your notary supplies too, which you're gonna get your notary journal, your notary stamp, and anything else that you've ordered. Of course, if you go through the NNA, depending on what package you use, then from there they'll also send you some materials, and you can always go and use the NNA for additional resources. A lot of people ask, should they become a member of the NNA, even if you're just going to be a regular general Notary Public? And I would tell you yes, because if you are a member, they're going to send you a card to tell you about your membership, but you're also able to contact them and ask them questions, whether or not you're in a loan signing or in a general notary assignment too. So I would go with yes. So these are all the different things that you would need to become a notary in the state of Florida. Part two, we have now become a notary public. So once we are a notary public, what supplies do we need in order to do general notary work out here in these notary streets? So we need a notary bag. You're gonna need a pen and you're gonna need pens and a pen pouch. Preferably, you're gonna need blue pens and you're gonna need black pens. When I first started, all I got was black pens because I was used to only signing even my signature in black ink. And so I was taken aback when I got my first notary assignment or my first loan signing, and they were like, hey, we want this to be in blue ink. And I didn't have any blue pens. So I had to run out and buy some blue pens in order to make sure that I had everything that was necessary. So of course now I have more blue pens than black pens, and there are certain times that I need to use black ink, but of course the majority of the time, about 98% out of 100, I use blue pens. You're going to need a clipboard because sometimes when you're doing general notary work, there you need a hard surface to work on, and a clipboard would allow you to have that, especially if you're doing something outside or on the car, and you don't have any other means to have anything a hard surface for you. You need a stapler. I have a mini stapler, so therefore if you need, say for instance, if I have to add a loose leaf certificate, I want to staple it together because I want to know that I did it, and I don't want to leave it loose from the document because hey, you never know what people may use or what they may pull. You're going to need manila folders. Manila folders, number 5 and 6 go together. Manila folders, and you're going to need loose leaf certificates. Of course, there are some times with general notary work where people have a character letter, or they have an affidavit, or they have a letter that they just written up, and they don't have any, and there's no notarial wording on the document. So you need to add a loose leaf and then notarize that. And so therefore, like I stated before, with the stapler, you use a stapler, of course, to staple the loose leaf and the document together. But the manila folders are for the loose leaf certificates. You need acknowledgments and you need giraffes. And I am going to put a link to a free website that would allow you to print out acknowledgments and giraffes for whatever state you live in. All you have to do is go to the website, you pick out, it's going to ask you what state you live in, it's going to ask you if you're looking for an acknowledgement or a jurat, and then you're able to download and save it, or you're able to download and print them out. But your manila folders, I have one in my notary bag for acknowledgments, and I have one for jurats. Of course, you're going to need your notary stamp and journal. I will tell you, I am getting ready to make me a second notary bag because I have been out and about, and someone will call and they need a general notary thing done right then and there. And guess what? I don't have my notary bag with me. My husband is always telling me that I should have a spare in the car so that if anybody calls me while I'm out, I can go ahead and go to them, meet them wherever, and get their notary assignment completed. So I am getting ready to make me a second notary bag. So therefore, I would tell you, you need to have an extra stamp. So I have my regular stamp, and then I'm going to have another bag in the car just for emergency purposes, just in case someone calls me and say, hey, can you meet me here? And this is what I need to get done real quick. I have two stamps. I have two stamps, two journals, and I'll make it work. You need a fingerprinting pad. This is optional. There are some documents that you may do where it's going to require a fingerprint for the signer. Sometimes, most of the time, it requires the right thumbprint, and so therefore you can have a fingerprint pad. I know I have mine from Office Depot, and it's a square pad, but I also know that they make the round circle ones that individuals use as well. You're going to need a notary primer. The notary primer is the holy grail. It's like the Bible for your notary laws for the state that you live in. Everyone should have one of these, and it should be in your notary bag. There are times where you may come across things and you're like, can I use this? Can I use that? And if you look into your notary primer, it may answer that for you. If it doesn't answer it in your notary primer, then guess what? If you're an NNA member, you can call the NNA and they will be able to assist you in order to help you to get to the right answer that you need. Business cards. I know a lot of people say that business cards are not needed, they're not a supply, but actually they are. I have been places where I was a notary, where I was the notary doing a general notary appointment, and someone else would see me doing something, and they was like, you know what, I always need a notary. Do you have a business card? Because I can stick it to my refrigerator. And I'm like, yeah, sure, I do. I'll go in my notary bag or either in my purse, in my card holder. I'll give them a note. I'll give them a business card because they are tangible. People keep them in their cars. People put them on their refrigerators, and they always have them available. So if they need it, they can call you. So go with business cards, and they're inexpensive. Google My Business page. This is optional for someone who is just being, if you're just starting as a notary, it may be good. They probably will tell you because a lot of people use Google in order to find what they're looking for these days, including myself. So Google My Business page. They will, if you go and you start one, they will walk you through step by step by step in order on how to get it complete, get it set up. And it has been my biggest go-getter when it comes to my general notary work. 12, optional, is a file cabinet. Of course, you need somewhere to put your supplies, especially if you have months and months worth of supplies. But there's also some things like your notary commission. You may want to have a loose leaf certificate for your acknowledgments and jurat. You may want to have a folder in that file cabinet, so when you run out in your notary bag, you can just go and pick more out of the file cabinet and put them back in. There may be other supplies that you may need for the file cabinet as well, so that's an optional one as well. So these are the supplies you need as a general notary public. You need a notary bag, you need pens and pen pouch, a clipboard, stapler, manila folders, acknowledgments and jurat loose leaf certificates, notary stamp and journal, fingerprinting pad, which is optional, notary primer, business card, a Google My Business page, and file cabinet, both of which are optional. Now we're moving on to section 3. All right, section part 3. So you are a general notary and you have completed a lot of general notary work. You heard something about this loan signing thing and you want to get into it. So what supplies do you need in order to become a loan signing agent / notary signing agent? So of course you're going to need everything from part 2 and the information listed here for part 3. Excuse me. All right, so number 1 is training. Training is optional. I tell my mentees that the first thing you should know how to do is to know how to notarize. If you know how to notarize, then you can learn everything else that comes along with being a notary signing agent. I didn't take a training course at all. Didn't have the money to pay for it at the time. I watched Griffin Notary Services on YouTube along with Vanessa Terry, and I went out there and did my thing. Um, some people feel that they do need training in order to know, because some people feel better. So if you're one of those individuals, that's fine. Training is optional. Of course, there's a lot out there. You have Notary to Notary, you have the loan signing system, you have Notary Stars, you have Laura Brewer, you have, I think, Bill Soroka. All of those individuals have a type of training program. Of course, do your research and choose the one that best fits you. Of course, second, you're going to have to increase your Arizona mission insurance and your surety bond to $25,000 or more. You may be able, of course, just to contact the insurance, the carrier, the carrier you got your initial insurance with, and see if they can increase you to the 25,000 or whatever you choose. A lot of people say that they want to choose $1 million. I personally have 100,000 is what I have, but I know individuals that only have 25,000, and that's fine. They usually tell you that the more you have, the better off you are at getting more signings from the signing services. So it will be, of course, what you can afford, and that will be your personal decision. Third, you need a dual tray monochrome laser printer. Um, I have a heavy duty Xerox Work Center uh, 3335 is what I have, and it scans, faxes, and it's a laser printer. But they want you to have a laser printer because, of course, laser printers use toner instead of using ink cartridges. Because if you're going to be a notary signing agent, you are going to have a lot of printing, a lot of paper printing, which means that you're going to use a lot of ink if you decide to use a printer that has ink cartridges. So most of the time, laser printer, I know a lot of people have a brother printer. Like I say, I have the Xerox Work Center. I know some people who have an HP, but of course, once again, do your research, figure out which one is best for you, and then go from there. So, a mobile scanner. A mobile scanner is optional. I have both. I have a small one and I have a large one. I have an Epson 300W for my small, and I have a Epson ES 500 WII for my large. The large, which is my, for of course, my refinance packages or my buyer's packages that needs to be scanned back after the after the assignment. I can go to someone that has Wi-Fi, hook it. It's an app on your phone. You can touch it and you can do scan backs and go ahead and send them in to the signing service. Especially if you have back to back to back. I use my small one for seller packages. My small one does about 26 pages. My large one does about 100 to 105 pages at one time. I know a lot of people use the Raven for the large one, or they use the Raven for all of their packages. Once again, you don't have to have a mobile scanner, but signing services like it when you do. Mobile printer, this is optional. Of course, you would have to have this whole setup in the back of your car or the back of your vehicle. A lot of signing services, they feel that it is a plus if you have a mobile scanner and a mobile printer, because that means, like, if you're on the road and a signing comes out, boom, you're able to stop somewhere. You can print out those documents and you can go get that signing done, and you can also scan those documents back to them. I personally don't have a mobile printer because my family only has one car that we use for everything. So at this particular time, I can't have a mobile set up in the back of my truck. But we're looking to get a second car or second vehicle in order for me to have that room in order to do so. A website. A website is also optional. I do have a website, but that is because I decided that this would be something that if I ever left my full-time job, that I could do full-time. So I decided to go ahead and get a website. I do allow for customers to book on my website. My website is linked to my Google My Business calendar, and so therefore it blocks off the time that I'm already available. So if someone goes to book anything, they can say, hey, she's not available at this time. Let me see if there's another time that she's available. And then the way my website does is that I have the ability to approve, decline, or say, hey, we need to reschedule this because I haven't updated my calendar and this is what I have on my calendar. I use Wix.com, Wix, for my website, but it's also optional. So those are along with the supplies from part 2, these are the supplies for being a notary signing agent. You need training, which is optional. You have to increase your errors and omissions insurance and surety bond to $25,000 or more. You have to have a dual tray laser printer. You have to have a mobile scanner, which is optional, mobile printer, which is optional, and website, which is optional. All right, those are the supplies for being a notary signing agent. Let's move to the last section. Section 4, and last but not least. So you have become a general notary, a Notary Public, you become a notary signing agent, and you've heard about this thing called RON, or remote online notarization, and you think about getting into it. So I will tell you this, at least for the state of Florida, when you initially become a notary and you do your application, and you do your application, you have the ability to go ahead and sign up to be approved as a RON as well. If you didn't, then first of all, you have to complete a mandatory 2-hour training here in the state of Florida. Just like when you become a general notary, the training is 2 hours. And then, of course, you have an assessment afterwards. Once you do that, you're going to get a certificate, which you're going to have to print out. And then you're going to have to send in your application and your fee. That's why I tell most people that it is much better for you to go ahead and do everything initially when you become a notary, which they do have available. You also, when you send in your RON application, you have to choose a platform. You don't have to stay with this platform, but this is just an initial platform that you have to choose to let them know, hey, I'm going to be doing remote online notarizations on this platform. Of course, you have different platforms. You have Notarize, you have One Notary, you have Blue Notary, you have Ecamm, I think you have Live Notary, I think you have Secured Signings, and Pavaso, and many more that are out there for you to choose from. So once you are approved, you're going to receive your approval letter. You can also, in the state of Florida, go out to the same website for for being a notary and see if you're listed as a RON as well. Basically, you're gonna use the same E&O insurance or Arizona Mission Insurance and surety bond that you would use as a notary signing agent. Of course, if you wanted to up that, you do have that option to do that as well. You're going to need a desktop or laptop with a webcam because you're going to be on two-way communication. So you're going to have to be able to see the signer, and the signer is going to have to be able to see you. You're going to need to have a headset. Either you're going to have a cord headset or a wireless headset, preferably with a mic. So therefore, when you're doing your RON sessions, you're able to hear the signer, and the signer is able to hear you. You're going to need a digital certificate. The digital certificate is what places your seal and everything in the background when you're completing these sessions. Most people go to IdenTrust to get their digital certificate, and I know you can get your digital certificate for 1 year, you can get it for 2 years, and I think you can get it for 4 years if I'm not mistaken. Then you're going to have your digital seal, which is also called a e-seal. Basically, it is your seal just in digital form. Many people go to the NNA to get theirs, But I also recently seen where some people created their own and therefore didn't have to pay for it because it was free. You can do research in order to see, of course, what's needed and figure out what's the best choice for you. You're going to need PDFs of blank acknowledgments and a giraffe form. What happens is that when you're on your ROM platform and you're completing a session, sometimes, just like with general notary work, it's a typed up letter or it is a written out hand note on a sheet of paper. And you're going to need to know what, of course, you're going to ask the signer what type of notarization they would like for you to complete for them. You're going to attach that blank loose leaf certificate. You're going to fill it out and you're going to notarize that. So that's why you need to have blank acknowledgement and giraffe forms. Then you're going to need to complete and submit your form DC-DOS-50. This is for Florida. I don't know if other states do this, but Florida wants to know, and I'm going to try to get a link to that form as well. Florida wants to know every RON site that you are signed up with. Even if you do not complete any type of RON sessions on this platform, Florida wants to know what you are, what platforms you're signed up with. Anytime you sign up for a new platform, you do have to fill out that form again and then send it back in. What they do with that form, I have no idea. I just know that you have to notify them of what platforms you're on. So, along with part 1, with 1, 2, and 3, here are the list of supplies you would need if you're going to become a remote online notary. I know this was a long video, and if you made it to this part of the video, yay, and thank you very much for watching. I hope something that I've said in this video has helped you regarding the supplies that you need at whatever part in your journey you are on. I look forward to reading you guys' comments and regarding the video, and if you learned something that you didn't know today. And hopefully I'll be coming to you guys soon with another video regarding my remote online notary experience. Until next time, happy stamping and signing.